Times Now news break. Viewers stands confirmed only channel just minutes before the Prime Minister's address to the nation. I told you that top sources have confirmed to your channel that booster dose, the third dose, could be rolled out in January. The Prime Minister making important decisions, and let me quickly sum this up before I bring in senior editor Megha Prasad. Vaccination for people in the age group of 15 to 18 years will begin from 3rd January 2020, the rollout date declared by Prime Minister Modi, and the precaution dose, the third dose of booster as it is being called, for frontline workers will begin from 10th January 2022. You heard it first on Times Now. Megha.
Well, Pranesh, we said this minutes before the Prime Minister was to go on air. Two things. One, that the permission for the vaccines for children, even though one had expected between 12 and 18, what he has announced is between 15 and 18. So for teenagers between the age of 15 and 18, now they will get the first doses. At least that will start rolling out next month. The other thing, of course, very important, he has also announced, the Prime Minister has announced a third, he called it the precaution dose. That is the third booster dose for all of those people involved, all the frontline workers and the healthcare workers, especially those involved, in providing medical assistance to people across the nation. So all the doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, etc., are now eligible for a booster dose. That's second. Apart from that, of course, he is saying that those who are vulnerable in that category, especially people above the age of 60 and also who have comorbidities, will be up for a booster dose. So they will, if they want, they are willing, the booster dose will be administered to them. So these are the three important announcements that the Prime Minister made.
And for more on this, Megha, just hold your thoughts. Dr. Trehan is back with us. Sir, we were talking a short while ago about boosters, and here are three important decisions being declared by Prime Minister Modi.
Yeah, so it's a good thing. The question mark there is about whether it's 12 to 18 or 15 to 18. I think the Prime Minister has announced 15 to 18. So I'm not quite clear about the methodology of that. But the basic thing is that the booster, which we have been talking about for the frontline workers and the elderly to follow, is a very good announcement, because like we have always had this fear that if Omicron spreads like it's supposed to spread, that the health of the healthcare workers should be pristine so that they can fight the battle. So that's the important part.
And he also said, sir, towards the end, that people above the age of 60 with comorbidities on advice of doctors can get the booster dose as well.
Right. So that's the methodology that was used the first time, and that's what we are using this time also, because over a period of time this will go on. And it will be given to others also, but as the vaccine becomes available and the program is rolled out. So I think it's overall a very, very good thing to happen. And the Prime Minister's announcement is very important for the country, and it's a bold step forward. Is
this the game changer, sir? I'm using my words carefully, in fight against COVID, Dr. Trehan?
No question about that the more we roll out, the better. Better it is, and we also know that the healthcare workers got their vaccines in January, February. So it's almost 10 months, 11 months. So it should be that they should get the booster right away, because it's proven around the world that the immunity does wane over a period of time. After 6 months, it starts coming down. So I think it's a very good move. It is a game changer for the health of the country, most definitely.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Naresh Trehan, for speaking to Times Now and for sharing your views on that. Dr. Bagai, just a little while ago, we were talking about this, and look, it is now a reality.
This is an extremely good step. And look at the timelines, the pediatric population 12 to 18 on 3rd Jan onwards, and the word used very carefully and judiciously and craftily is a precautionary dose. So he has removed the word, PM Sir has removed the word as a booster and a third dose. It is to give comfort to say that this is a precautionary dose, and stressing that two vaccines have done a lot of good The message is that the two vaccines have done a lot of good, and for the specific categories of above 60 with comorbidities and healthcare workers, these three large segments would get the third dose. But like we were discussing a few minutes back, the pediatric population to be immunized is extremely important. It is the largest chunk. They carry the same viral load. They transmit as much as adults. And this would be a huge link to stop the chain of transmission. And this would prevent the risk to children, get them back into school, get them back into sports, and have to have more in-person contact. That's the most prime responsibility of parents and teachers for children.
Okay, let me get in Dr. Manan, Dr. Chugh, Dr. Gilada. They're waiting with us patiently. Dr. Gilada, I'm coming to you. You were the first to raise your hands just after Prime Minister finished his speech. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I know. I had to leave. I would like to just congratulate Prime Minister and the whole country that today he was speaking our language. It is like we are speaking. So one of the good things to happen. And as I predicted, all those points which were expected of him, as a head of the nation, he spoke about that. About 60 and above population with comorbidity, it will be almost all the 60 and above population, because almost 90% of the people at 60 and above, they have some or the other comorbidity. So it is a additional dose for them. It's not a booster. Naturally, it is not called booster. But for medical caregiver, frontline workers, I think best thing to happen, because that their confidence was shaken. So last 1 month we have been campaigning, but it was not happening. So good thing it is happening, and he has given a timeline. Actually, we want this thing, timeline, transparency, and systematism. So like we started vaccination in a systematic fashion, similarly, the booster dose, additional dose, etc. should be also systematized. So I think one of the best things to happen, and I think people will also now cooperate with the COVID-appropriate behavior during this Omicron wave, and will come out victorious. I have no doubt about that.
And Dr. Chugh, allow me to understand one thing, sir, and please correct me if I am wrong in my assessment. Is there a difference between precautionary dose, the phrase that Prime Minister used, the third dose or the booster dose as it is being called?
No, there's no significant difference. I think it's just a terminology. Ultimately, it's a third dose which is being given. And as has been seen world over, the immunity does start waning as far as the antibody levels are concerned after a few months. And by 12 months, we expect it to come to a level where it will again be vulnerable. And it is just the right move. Just as I was saying, the 16th January could be the date that we should start getting our vaccines. And if it is somewhat earlier, as announced by the Prime Minister, I'm happier. So this is required. Both precautionary dose and booster dose are the same thing.
Dr. Manan, three important announcements by the Prime Minister. He said from 3rd of January 2020, rollout for vaccination for people aged 15 to 18 years of age. Frontline workers will get their third dose, the booster dose, precautionary dose, call it what you want to, from 10th January 2020. And people above the age of 60 years with comorbidity and on advice of doctors will also get the booster dose.
Yes, this is something which was expected, and we were hoping that this would happen soon. Booster dose, we have been waiting for a very long time. It's been happening all around the world, and it's a welcome announcement from the Prime Minister. Yes, pediatric vaccinations, we were expecting that they'll go very slowly because safety aspect has to be seen. And very rightly, he has said we'll start from 15 to 18, and then gradually we will probably go up down the ladder till we reach to up to 2 years of age. So a very welcome announcement, and very important thing Prime Minister has said, that be prepared, but please do not panic. He's stressed this many times. So no panic, be prepared, be cautious. And yes, vaccination is the key and the answer to this particular pandemic. And I think a welcome announcement by the Prime Minister. And I'm happy this announcement has been made on Christmas.
Okay, let's play out if we can. Okay, we'll go to that in just a bit, but Dr. Jailal is back with us, President of the IMA. Dr. Jailal, what do you make of the three important announcements by Prime Minister Modi?
Yeah, as usual, on behalf of the doctors' fraternity, I welcome the announcement of Honorable Prime Minister Ji. This is what we are expecting him from today. And thanks for him coming forward and acknowledging the service of the frontline doctors in this community in the COVID war, and giving them the additional dose of the booster vaccination at this moment, and also for the immunocompromised people. This is long expected. I am sure as in the imminent of the Omicron wave, which is pertinent in our country, definitely the supporting and precautionary measure taken by the government to support the booster, the immunity of the doctors will be going a long way in sustaining the health status of our country. I'm also happy, and we thank the Honorable Prime Minister and the Government of India for announcing vaccination for the children, especially 15 to 18, to start with January 13th. And we, on behalf of the doctor fraternity and from the pediatrics across the country and the family physician, we assure our full-hearted support to the government in implementing the vaccination drive in the country, and the nook and corners of our country shall be receiving the vaccination. Especially during the pediatric vaccination, we need to take utmost care and utmost monitoring capacity, not like adult vaccination. Even if there is a small mistake, there is in the high-tech, in the super medias, it can be go wrong way. So there must be a close coordination between the medical fraternity and the implementation of this vaccination. I'm sure this will help as the schools and colleges are open. Definitely when the children are going to the schools and they will be feel happy, parents will be also extremely happy to have this vaccination. So we thank Honorable Prime Minister, and especially his advice on not to get panic but be cautious. If the government should be also take care for the precautionary measures of avoiding the confrontation of the crowded community at any level in the society.
Right. And Dr. Bagai, you know what, I want to come back to you on one specific point that the Prime Minister stressed on in his address, sir. He said that this will strengthen the confidence of healthcare and frontline workers. And this is, I think, by far the most important aspect to focus on, because these are people who are at the front line in fight against COVID.
Absolutely, Pranesh. The healthcare workers in India actually got the vaccines, the 2 shots in January and February this year. So it's been a better part
Dr.
of about
Bagai, I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you have a light in front of you, maybe you could switch it on, because your frame is too dark, sir.
Can you have the light? Yeah, I'll just do that, Pranesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is that good?
Much better, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. So most of the doctors have actually got the vaccine about 8 or 10 months back. So most international studies have shown that the vaccine immunity 6 to 7 months after the second dose diminishes rapidly, especially for the AstraZeneca. And there have been case studies after case studies to show that you need a third booster dose. And there is a medical and scientific reason, because it stimulates what we call as the germ cells to reactivate your antibody to produce T cells, which are your main long-term protective T cells, memory T cells. So this is an extremely important step, because the doctors need the utmost protection, because we are the caregivers. And we've already lost close to 2,000 doctors in the first and the second wave. And the last thing which we want is any more mortality, not only medically, but in the society at large. So I think all the categories which the Prime Minister, sir, has mentioned, which includes the elderly, the vulnerable, the comorbids, healthcare workers, are extremely important. This is a huge mental boost for them, not only an immune boost, but a mental boost for them to know that the country is with them. The Prime Minister, late hours at night, has approved this. He's announced this, and from 3rd Jan and 10th Jan respectively, both the pediatric vaccination and the third shot, which is called very smartly the precautionary shot, because this removes the doubt in people's mind that the 2 shots didn't work. So this precautionary word is actually used, I presume, from that context. But I think it's a huge moral boost for the parents too, whose young children have been locked up for the last 2 years and doing online courses. So this will again give a huge mental confidence to them to know that the children will soon be able to go back to school.
Dr. Manan, before Prime Minister Modi made the announcement, the 3 big announcements that we've been telling our viewers about, he underlined the fact that this is no time to panic. We just have to up our COVID guard. We have to stay alert. That's our best bet.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, the words like panic, alarm, screaming, I mean, that should not be used. You know, we should be cautious. We should be prepared. We should not panic. See, we are already in a very good situation, I think. We have faced the Delta variant. 141 crore vaccinations have been given across the country. Booster doses have been announced. We are starting vaccination 15 to 18 years. I think we are in a very good situation. If we just follow the basic COVID protocols and stay cautious, I don't think we'll face the problem which the West, I hope so at least, you know, which the West is facing. Also keeping in view the demography of India and Asian countries. This is my take. So absolutely no panic. No panic, just be prepared, be cautious and be healthy. I think that is also very important.
Absolutely, because COVID appropriate behavior, is important. It is important to follow it, Dr. Chugh, because at a time when most state governments are imposing curbs, are saying that containment must be our focus again, here you have the Prime Minister addressing the nation to just drive home that point.
Certainly, I think coming from him, it has far more impact than coming from even the medical fraternity or the state leaders. So I think it's a very good move that he's emphasized there. In fact, he started with that although numbers that are going to come are being already projected regarding Omicron are alarming and very, very alarming. They are saying there could be 14 lakh cases a day. These are calculations, and this is what Dr. Vinod Paul had said a few days back. If that can be the number, it is frightening. On the other hand, somehow I feel, in spite of listening to that numbers, in spite of seeing cases around our neighborhoods, most people are not taking the appropriate precautions. And it is time that we go back to what we were several months back, and maybe
absolutely well said, sir. Times Now Newsbreak confirmed 15 minutes before Prime Minister's address to the nation. You heard it first on Times Now. With that, a short break. We return to this in just a bit. Please stay with us.